This is the 2024 Chevrolet Blazer EV. It's the RS trim level. Is it the better mid-size EV SUV option? Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. Today, Carrie and I are at Red River Chevrolet here in Shreveport, Louisiana. This is our first look at the Blazer EV. We're going to share some things with you about it. As always, there's a link in the description of the video to this exact model if you want to come into Red River Chevrolet and buy it. And we'll start off here. I'm going to stand back and let you see the headlight animation that takes place when you lock or unlock the vehicle. You can see it happening right there. You know, if this area right here had some red lighting, it would almost look like the Knight Industries 2000. Some of you are going to have to Google that to understand what I'm saying. Boy, that's funny. And I don't know if you noticed or not, but even the bow tie, that logo right there, the Chevrolet logo, lights up as well. This exterior part right here, that is also lit. Everything LED, pretty easy to figure out. And as is nothing unusual with a Blazer, whether it's an EV or not, you got your RS logo right there. For those of you who wonder what RS stands for, it means Rally Sport. Now you know. And obviously a little bit of air coming in through here to help out with the battery cooling, so that's going to be there as well. This model is rear-wheel drive, so for those of you who might be saying, I don't want an all-wheel drive EV, well, here's a good option for you. How about our tire and wheel size? I'm going to get out of the way and let Carrie show you what's going on there. The width is going to be 275. We're going to have a 45 series sidewall, and that's going to be wrapped around what I think are some very nice looking wheels for an EV, because some of them out there are just plain ugly. These are 21-inch wheels. Now, won't have any functionality here, but you still have that sporty look with the trim. So better than nothing. I guess it would look kind of drab there if it wasn't there. There is your remote. You can see what all is there. Remote start included. And you have power adjustable, heated, power folding side view mirrors. Turn signal indicators are built in, and yes, there are multiple cameras all over this model. Let's walk around here and we'll take a quick look at one of the features just so I can show it to you real fast. I'm going to push this button right here, and there you go. There is the power folding function of your side view mirrors. Body color on your door handles, and the thing I like here is that you have that button right there. That's passive entry. When you have the remote on your person, you can use that button, or you can use the button right here to gain access to the vehicle. Also have your roof rails up there. We have a panoramic sunroof. We'll show you a little bit more about that later in the video. And as we work our way here to the rear, you'll notice what our taillights look like. Let me lock the vehicle just so you can kind of see some of that in action. And then you'll notice with the Blazer logo that you have that blue E right there. Well, obviously that signifies that this is an EV. Pretty clean look back here, that RS logo again. The bumper is going to be gloss black. A lot of the time I don't like to see gloss black because it tends to show damage a lot easier. But unless you're driving really fast in reverse, you shouldn't have that problem. And for those who are saying, well, Tom, does the front end have active air curtains? I'm just going to let Carrie show you on the screen, because they are some of the biggest, if not the biggest, I've ever seen. You can easily see daylight through there. Those things are so big you can almost fly a 747 through there. Well, not really. And what's under the hood? Well, obviously not what you would normally see here. There is a ton of plastic under here, but there are a couple of things that are worth noting. So first of all, we have right here, gain access to filling your washer fluid reservoir up. And right up here, if you're wondering what that is your brake master cylinder for your brakes. That's where you're going to put your brake fluid. And while I give you some numbers on here, I'll let Carrie read off a few things, or show you while I read off the information, what's right there. 340 horsepower, 325 pounds-feet of torque. How about charging times? Now, it will take over 24 hours to reach a full charge on a level 2 charger, but don't be disappointed just yet, because if you step up to a fast charger, a supercharger, you're looking at 20 to 30 minutes. That definitely helps out. And we're looking at 324 miles of driving range on a single charge. How about the MPGEs? 99 city, 84 highway, We're looking at 92 combined and 37 kilowatt hours per every 100 miles driven. Well, I fired Kerry, so you're not going to see him for the rest of the video. No, actually what happened, for those of you who don't know, he's a Bossier City police officer here in our area, and he got called into court because somebody challenged one of his traffic tickets, and I guarantee you, they're not going to win. So that's why he's not here. Now, let's talk about some of the capabilities of this Blazer EV, since you're just stuck with me for the rest of the video. It can tow up to 3,500 pounds. That's going to be on the LT and the RS trim levels, as long as they are rear-wheel drive. If you go all-wheel drive, you can tow up to 1,500 pounds. All other models are not recommended to be used for towing at all. And your cargo specs come in at 25.5 up to 59.1 cubic feet, so you can fit quite a bit back here. You have a panoramic sunroof. That front portion does tilt and slide open, and there is a power shade that can be drawn forward or back depending on what you want to do. I do like the lighting that we have back here because it's nice and bright. It's going to keep this area well lit after dark. And then we also have some space underneath the floor. Obviously, this model is going to come with the charge cable, all of those good things. It's all going to be here. And you have a power tailgate, which we can open and close by the buttons we push. Pretty simple to deal with. And I definitely have to admit that the exterior styling of the Blazer EV is really nice. It has a very sporty look. One thing I haven't talked about earlier in the video is where your charge port is located. Here's your indicator. You're going to push on that, and that will open right up. Notice that you have to give it a second, so don't let that fool you. And depending on what type of charger you're using, you can use whichever port is necessary, but just so you know, that's where it's located. And if you happen to be wondering how to close the charge port, you just push this button right here, right in the same area where you pressed from the exterior to open the charge port. That's how you close it. And as we take a look into the back seat area, the first thing that jumps out to me is the red and blue contrast stitching. I really like that typical rally sport look. Obviously, you would normally have red, and the blue, for this being an EV, has been added. The armrest seems to be pretty comfortable to me. Plenty of room within the door bin right there, and you'll see that contrast stitching works its way into the interior. You'll have a fold-down armrest right here with the cup holders built in. And then we'll hop on inside and see that we have, as I close this door, get rid of some of that exterior noise, rear seat pockets on both sides, and a really classic look for the current generation of the Blazer with the design of the air conditioning vents. You also have USB ports and a couple of buttons down here. Those are going to control the heated outboard seats. And from this vantage point, there is your panoramic sunroof. And for those of you who were patient enough, here is the sticker price. $57,670. Tell me what you think about that. Here's your driver's side door. As far as the controls you have here, nothing out of the ordinary, but you do have your seat memory and all the controls for your side view mirrors. Depending on which mirror you want to adjust, there's the button I pushed earlier to use that power folding and unfolding function. And obviously you have power windows at all four corners. You can control the power tailgate right here as well. You do have a Bose audio system. And something else that I like to open the frunk, or the front trunk area, or the hood, whichever you wish to call it. I like the ×2 logo right there because that means you pull on it twice and you don't have to worry about finding a hood release to open that area up. That works out really well. So we're gonna hop inside here and I'm going to get that out of the way. I really like the look of what we have here as far as the graphics go, these digital screens. Very nice, very large, very easy to deal with. Not really out of the ordinary for General Motors in general, but that's what's here. Here are your steering wheel mounted controls, and you can go over here and control everything for your front and rear window wipers. You can also control your turn signal indicators that you should be using when you're driving down the road. The RS logo down there on the bottom of the steering wheel, and it does have a flat bottom, and it has the baseball style stitching right here in red only. It would have looked interesting to have kind of a combination of red and blue. And if you can't find the knob to control the volume and turn the radio on and off, well, you might have to put your glasses on or have your eyes checked, because it's big and it's right there. A very simplistic infotainment screen, but I like the fact that everything is driver focused, angled towards the driver, in other words. That really makes a difference. Easy to deal with. You've got those camera views that I mentioned to you earlier in the video. There's your overhead view. That's nice to see. We've got overhead right here. If we want to go to that, let's see if I can select that. There we go. Get our selection on that. We also have the side view. Apparently I'm not very good at selecting. There we go, your side views. Very clear. That's something I like. We can go up here and go out of that. Quite a bit going on here. Wireless pairing for your smartphone. You have your maps right there if you want to use that. And then you can go into your settings. And depending on what you need to do, well, you can find a lot of things here. Profiles, all that different information there as far as that goes. Let's go into vehicle and see what we find there, because I know a lot of you like to know about that. You have your driver mode customization, so you can go in and make some changes where that is considered or where that is concerned. Normal or sport with your steering. You can go with braking and do the same thing. Acceleration feel. Definitely want to put that in sport. Well, depends on who you are. And motor sound. That's interesting. I haven't been out on the road yet, but apparently you have normal, you have sport, or you have off. So there's quite a bit going on here. Some really neat stuff as far as this model goes. And we'll go back here and look at a few more things. Teen driver mode is here, and you can turn rear seat reminder on and off. And if you're just driving around in a parking lot or wherever you are, you can turn your buckle to drive feature off if you want to. I do recommend that you use your seatbelt when you're out driving. That's always a good idea. Hopefully you won't need it, but if you do, it's nice to know that it's there. And let's go in here and see about ambient lighting. I don't know if I can get in a dark enough atmosphere to show that off today, but often what happens is the blue tends to show up. I'm not really seeing much of anything right now, but we'll see if we can remedy that later in the video. But obviously it's there, so that's pretty interesting. Looks like that's all the way up. There's so much here, I could probably do a full video just on that. And we're going to come back to the screen in just a minute because there's a couple of interesting things to point out. Air conditioning vents, all your controls for the air conditioning. You'll notice that everything is on the screen right here, but the good news is that you can also control some functionality right down here. And you have heated and ventilated seats, and so you have 3 different settings on your ventilated seats, 3 different settings on your heated seats. I dare not turn that on today because it's in the mid-80s. That is useful to have for warm days like this. A couple of USB options right there, and there's space up here. There could almost be a second wireless charging pad, but a lot of storage space right there. There are your cup holders. And speaking of the wireless charging pad, well, there it is. And a nice wide and a fairly tall center console. Very comfortable for my arm right there. I like that. For these, depending on where you put things with the seats, you can make that perfect for yourself. They are heated, power adjustable, ventilated seats. And you can see that you have another USB down there and a 12-volt power outlet. Here is your upper console, so you can see what all is there. In fact, what I'm going to do real fast is draw forward the power shade. I told you that was there earlier. So, one thing I wanted to show you here, if you want to use one pedal driving, where the vehicle will basically brake itself, that's how you turn it on, or you can turn it off. It takes some getting used to if you haven't done it before, but that's what you do. And then you turn the vehicle off right here. What's interesting is that it asks if you want to have it off. It's almost like turning your computer off at home. Vehicle off or cancel, depending on what you want to do. And by the way, if you're wondering what this is, that's how you control your headlights. You can turn those on or off or leave them on auto. Doesn't stay on the screen very long, but I think you saw what's there. There's also some storage right here. I don't know if that's really meant to be storage. It's just a very small area. You really couldn't put much in there, but you do have your glove box. And just a couple more things I wanted to cover here. How about your collision and detection systems? Well, here's what we have. You can go into your alert type. You have automatic emergency braking, front pedestrian braking, intersection collision braking. And you can see what else is here. pretty easy to deal with. You can go in and make some changes to these things as far as your safety features go, and I don't know that it's showing up very well. Just one of those things about a day that is a little bit on the bright side. It's overcast, but it still might be kind of hard to see the head-up display, but it is there. Okay, we're going to get out on the road for our test drive now with the Blazer EV. And I tried getting in a darker atmosphere to show you a little bit of what the interior looks like with the ambient lighting. There really isn't a lot of it, but I gave you the best view that I possibly could, so I'll put that on the screen for you. And something else that I did not mention earlier in the video, at least I don't think was mentioned earlier in the video, is the fact that you do have a tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel. That adjustment is under the center part of the steering column. It's not on the side, so that way you know where it is. So what is it like to drive this Blazer EV? Well, it has a nice, comfortable ride quality, at least by my assessment. Everybody has their opinions on that kind of thing. It just depends on what you're used to. So you might hop in and say it's even better than I'm claiming it is, or maybe it's not as good as I say it is. It just depends on what you're used to driving. It handles well, that goes without saying. It has plenty of get up and go when you need it. It's not going to just be what I would call neck snapping performance. I'm going to slow down a little bit here so I can give you a quick little demonstration. You still get a nice little kick there, just a little bit. Get that instant torque and get on down the road. The good news is that you know you have enough power here to get into fast moving traffic when you need to do so, and if you need to pass somebody on the highway on a 2-lane road when it's safe to do so, you have the power to do that. So a lot of advantages where that's concerned. The interior itself is comfortable. I feel like if this model was capable of going 1,000 miles on a single charge, can you imagine that? It would pass Kerry's 1,000-mile test that he likes to talk about sometimes in our videos. A very comfortable interior. The seats are comfortable. I like the fact that the ventilated portion of the seats seem to do a great job. Very, very happy with that. It is getting a little more humid here in Northwest Louisiana than it has been. Not my favorite thing, but that does happen. So, taking care of all that, I'm comfortable regardless of what's going on. These seats are comfortable, and I like the fact that you don't feel cramped here. I could adjust the seat a lot more than I already have if I was going to be driving this Blazer EV on a longer trip. Just depends on the situation, but obviously there's a lot going on here. Plenty of cargo capacity if you need it, and there's just a lot of advantages here. A very well-rounded vehicle, and a very reasonably priced vehicle as well as far as the EV goes. When the EVs first came out, well, obviously they were rather pricey, but now starting to come down a little bit more in price. So tell me what you think about the 2024 Chevrolet Blazer EV. Is it the better mid-size EV SUV option? Tell me what your thoughts are. I do want to say a special thanks to my friends at Red River Chevrolet for loaning me this Blazer for the day, and a special thanks to each and every one of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button. That always helps me out. Hit that thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. That way you don't miss any future videos. And if you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I'll see you there.